Caitlin Clark out for the remainder of the 2025 season.
Caitlin Clark, who announced yesterday she will not be playing for those games or the rest of the season.
That's right.
We all think we knew what's coming after what Stephanie White said earlier today. We couldn't be too sure until we see it for ourselves.
A promising season, a generational talent, and a superstar on the rise. All gone. Not with a bang, but with a quiet, devastating announcement that left fans feeling betrayed. Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's reigning Rookie of the Year, has been officially ruled out for the remainder of the 2025 season. But the shocking truth isn't just that she's injured. The real story is how the Indiana Fever and the WNBA leadership handled it, leading to a chorus of furious fan reactions and accusations of a massive cover-up. This isn't just a tale of bad luck. It's a saga of a team that allegedly strung its fans along, a player's health potentially being mishandled, and a league facing a full-blown credibility crisis. The layers of this story run deep, from the on-court physicality to the corporate lies, and we're going to pull back the curtain on every detail.
Caitlin Clark won't be returning this season, nor if the Indiana Fever make the playoffs.
To understand the scale of this tragedy, you first have to understand who Caitlin Clark was before she ever stepped on a WNBA court.
Up in time, Clark for the win! Yeah!
She wasn't just a great player, she was a phenomenon.
Who plays like Caitlin's what I'm saying from a female? Who do you think plays like her? haven't seen a female play like her.
At the University of Iowa, she became a walking legend, rewriting the record books in a way no one thought possible. She became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA basketball history for both men and women, surpassing even Pistol Pete Maravich's decades-old record. But her impact went far beyond the numbers. The Caitlin Clark effect was a real, measurable force. Her games were a spectacle, drawing record-breaking television viewership that rivaled and even surpassed men's games. She sold out arenas, both home and away, bringing a new wave of fans to women's basketball who had never paid attention before. She was the hero the sport needed, a transcendent talent with a flair for the dramatic, and everyone knew it. The WNBA wasn't just drafting a player, they were drafting a multi-million-dollar marketing engine, and the world was watching. The anticipation for her rookie season was unlike anything the league had ever seen. Caitlin Clark's rookie season in 2024 was a whirlwind of success. She was named Rookie of the Year, shattered records, and brought a level of stardom to the league that was previously unimaginable. She was an Iron Woman, never missing a game. Fans and pundits alike expected her to build on that success in 2025, to lead the Fever to the playoffs, and to take her place as a true league titan. But from the very beginning, something felt off. The preseason brought a minor quad injury that the team downplayed. She started the season, and in brief flashes, she was the same old Caitlin.
She had a minor quad strain in the preseason that was well managed. It was a little bit of tightness in the thigh, hard to elevate, hard to push off. Now here's the issue. She was cleared to play just before the start of the season, but then re-aggravated.
A triple-double in the opener against the Chicago Sky, a jaw-dropping 32 points against the New York Liberty. It seemed like the prophecy was coming true, but beneath the surface, the injuries were piling up. The news dropped like a weight, heavy and final. Caitlin Clark, the player who had brought unprecedented attention to the league, would not be returning. Her own statement on social media was a raw, unfiltered expression of disappointment, a stark contrast to the sterile corporate language that followed from the Indiana Fever.
Caitlin Clark released a statement saying this: "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. I want to thank everyone who had my back through all the uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating, but even in the bad, there is good. The way the fans continue to show up for me and for the Fever brought me so much joy and important perspective. I am so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through adversity this year. Now it's time to close out the season and claim our spot in the playoffs."
The team's official release, issued by COO and GM Amber Cox, was a masterclass in saying everything and nothing at all. They spoke of Clark's long-term health and well-being, a phrase repeated ad nauseum by head coach Stephanie White, and a hollow promise to have her back at full strength for 2026. The words were a shield, designed to protect the franchise from scrutiny, but they only fueled the fire, leaving fans to wonder what secrets were being hidden beneath the surface. We're going to dissect this statement line by line, showing you how a simple press release can become a weapon of deception, a calculated attempt to manage public perception while offering no real substance or accountability. To understand the fury, you have to look back at the timeline. It wasn't one single injury, but a series of crippling setbacks that the Fever consistently downplayed. It began with a quad injury in the preseason that was initially called a minor setback. She came back, looking like her old self in brief flashes. A triple-double against the Chicago Sky, a 32-point masterpiece against the New York Liberty. But the truth was, she was never truly healthy. She re-injured the quad, then suffered a groin injury in a game against the Connecticut Sun on July 15th.
Caitlin Clark took to social media to announce that her season is over. Clark hasn't played since July 15th after suffering a groin injury.
The team's response? The maddeningly vague day-to-day status. For weeks, they kept fans on a leash, hinting at a possible return. Then came the bombshell of an added bone bruise to the groin. The string of injuries and the team's consistent lack of transparency painted a clear picture of a franchise willing to gamble with their stars' health to keep the narrative alive and the seats full. But that wasn't the whole story. The day-to-day lie became a running joke, a phrase that would come to symbolize the team's total lack of respect for its fans. What really happened behind closed doors? We can only imagine the conversations that took place in the last few weeks between Clark, her agent, and the Fever's top brass. This wasn't a doctor's visit. It was a crisis management meeting. The questions on the table weren't medical, they were strategic. Who would break the news? Would Clark make a personal statement, or would the team handle it? How do they avoid a complete fan revolt? They had a product to sell, and that product was Caitlin Clark. The decision to rule her out entirely was likely a last resort, a concession that the jig was up. They couldn't fake it any longer. The truth was leaking, and the official announcement was an act of damage control, not a show of concern. It's a classic PR playbook, and the fans saw right through it. They felt like they were being managed, not respected, and that feeling of betrayal is what fueled the subsequent firestorm. The response from the fan base was immediate and brutal. On social media, the dam of frustration finally broke. One fan wrote, "They handled this terribly. It is what it is. So, the grift is over for 2025. Another said, "So transparent," followed by, "Shame on you for dragging us through this BS again." The vitriol wasn't just about the injury. It was about the broken trust. This was a fan base that had invested their time and money, only to feel like they were being deliberately misled. They had a right to be angry. They had been promised a sophomore season of epic proportions, a chance to watch Clark build on her sensational rookie year, and instead, they got a revolving door of injuries and empty promises. The emotional weight of this lost season is immense, not just for Clark, but for the entire league. But the narrative goes even deeper. This isn't just a Fever problem, it's a WNBA problem. The fan anger wasn't just directed at the team, but at the league's entire leadership. Accusations surfaced that WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the Players Association had failed to hold officials and players accountable for what one fan called the barbaric style of play that Clark had been subjected to. The constant hard fouls, the bumps, the physical abuse she took on the court. It was all supposedly being ignored in favor of a tough narrative. Was the league's desire for a competitive, physical brand of basketball so great that they were willing to put their biggest star's career at risk? It was a powerful, dark theory that suggests Clark's injuries were not an accident, but an inevitability. We'll delve into the league's player safety protocols and rules, showing you how they are and aren't designed to protect players, especially those who draw as much attention as Clark. We'll also examine the role of officials, who some have accused of letting the game get out of hand, leading to more injuries. This isn't just about a star player being hurt, it's about the emotional toll on everyone involved. For Clark, it's the frustration of a missed opportunity, the crushing weight of a season spent in rehab. She has to sit on the sidelines watching her team battle for a playoff spot, knowing she can't help. For her teammates, it's a season defined by adversity, forced to carry the load without their best player. For the franchise, it's a financial and PR nightmare, a blow to their credibility that will be hard to recover from. And for the fans, it's a feeling of being cheated, robbed of the magic that only Caitlin Clark can bring to the court. This lost season is an unwritten chapter, a story of what could have been. Let's pause and consider the immense gravity of the Clark effect that we talked about earlier. This wasn't just about one player, it was about a new era for the WNBA. Clark's arrival meant sold-out arenas, skyrocketing television ratings, and a new level of media attention that the league had been chasing for years. Every injury update, every game she missed, was a blow not just to the Indiana Fever, but to the entire league's momentum. The WNBA was at a crossroads, finally on the verge of mainstream popularity, and the person holding the keys to that future was suddenly sidelined. This wasn't just a sports story anymore, it was a business crisis. The league's handling of this situation will be studied for years to come as a textbook example of what not to do when your biggest asset is on the line. The consequences of this saga extend far beyond a single season. The lack of transparency has created a deep rift between a significant portion of the fan base and the league itself. For every fan who understands the complexities of athlete health, there's another who feels they were deliberately lied to. The WNBA's brand, which was on an unprecedented upward trajectory, has now been tainted by mistrust and accusations of negligence. This situation has also highlighted a growing divide in the WNBA fan base itself, between the longtime supporters who are used to the league's physicality and the new fans who came to see Clark's explosive, free-flowing style. This isn't just a basketball debate, it's a cultural one, and the league's response to Clark's injury has exacerbated the tension. The question isn't just about Clark's return, but about whether the league can heal the divisions that have opened up in its wake. The focus now shifts to 2026. The Fever's statement promised a return to full health, but will it be the same Caitlin Clark? She's never had to deal with this level of injury before. Her legendary college career was marked by her endurance and ability to stay on the court. Now she faces an arduous recovery process, not just for her physical body, but for her mental game. Can she return with the same explosive style that made her a household name? Will the WNBA address the issues of physical play that some fans believe led to this? The stakes are higher than ever. It's not just a season that was lost, but potentially a piece of the magic that makes Clark who she is. And whether she can reclaim that, and whether the fans will trust the league enough to come back, remains the most important story of all. We'll explore the implications of this controversy on the future of the WNBA, from its new collective bargaining agreement to the way it markets its stars. This isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning of a long and difficult journey back to the court. We'll close by examining the potential long-term consequences of this saga, not just for Clark's career, but for the entire trajectory of women's basketball. This moment will be a defining one for the league, a test of its commitment to its players and its fans. The hope is that this dark chapter leads to a brighter, more transparent future for the WNBA. Ultimately, the story of Caitlin Clark's lost season is a cautionary tale. It's a story about the intersection of a player's health, a team's business interests, and a league's integrity. The lack of transparency, the stringing along of fans, and the unanswered questions about player safety have all conspired to create a crisis of faith. While the WNBA has made strides in recent years, this situation proves that the old ways of doing business still linger. The future of the league and the fate of its greatest star now rests on a long and uncertain road. Will the WNBA learn from its mistakes? Will it earn back the trust it lost? The world will be watching, and the answers will define the next era of women's basketball.